Okay, go.
Here you go.
Claude Debussy. That's the bit I've just played. I'll just slice him to make sure we get that right. Enjoy. Could you play this one for me as well, please, Stephen? This one, please.
The midst of this iconic, decadent, evil queen.
This is from Sophie.
Oh, Sophie.
No.
Neither, I think.
Kirsten Dunst.
Yes.
Oh, that's Kirsten.
Oh, yes. Sophie Coppela.
Why did you decide to end the film where you do and not show us the decapitation, the actual death?
Thanks. The story after the Leave Versailles continues for a long period, many years in prison and a long trial and an escape, and we weren't making a mini-series, so I couldn't tell that whole story, and decided within our time frame to focus on the years in Versailles, her arrival as a young girl and her departure as a woman. And to me, the conclusion of our story was her on the balcony, where she really evolves and shows she's become a woman and a queen.
Question for Kirsten Dunst. How did she build up the role of Marie Antoinette once it was offered to her?
At first? Well, Sophia brought it to me, so already I knew that it would be something different from a normal way of approaching a historical figure, and she forced me to look at her in such a personal way that I had never looked at somebody in history before, and there's so many opinions on Marie Antoinette, and I could have a freedom in finding my own and trying to find an essence of her and not judging her and understand her point of view as a woman, whatever mistakes she made.
I'm Gary Graffman. I'm so happy to be on this show called Living the Classical Life, and I look forward to our discussion.
Okay, so this grading piece, Stephen, that grade is at Awesome, Children's Corner. Where am I here,
So
Stephen?
in the key of C, no sharps, no flats, unless they tell you otherwise.
The two C's.
Yes, that's like a little dum, yeah, dum.
With
Exactly,
pedal.
yeah.
Mr.
And a
Graffman, it's a
cacciatura.
delight
With
to
it,
welcome
with
you
the pedal,
onto
cacciatura.
our show.
Oh, with the yeah,
Thank you so much for
cacciatura,
being part of our
With
project
pedal.
and also for welcoming us into your
Wheels are
beautiful,
on.
very happy.
And then,
G,
Having seen all the changes in the
G,
music
C,
world that you
G.
have, what does it take today to form
So
and
that's you.
foster a
That's
first
Yeah,
great
make
talent
it sound clear.
as a
Sorry?
artist.
Well, first-rate talent should be discovered early. And that's the most important thing. In other words,
Hey?
people who, let's say, had no background at home
Enough.
in music,
Yeah,
So I still
that's
at the
it.
age of 16 suddenly hear
want E.
It's tied over, the left hand's still tied.
What got?
and start getting interested.
So that bit we should have
Learn
been.
the violin or piano or
Is that right,
what
better
have you.
still?
Yeah, that's better.
Sure, they can learn something, but
What's it?
it's too late. It's like, I'm told, a tennis player has to be developed early.
I never had a
A swimmer
canoe.
in
Yeah, I
sports,
don't want to name
all
it.
the sports, or most of them. And there are certain doctors who explain it, muscle coordination, or
Okay.
God knows what, that you do
County
automatically.
as well. I never had a canoe.
So,
And then this bit
you
here,
start
we go
early,
to.
your
Yeah.
talent.
We're playing
Then
plastic
what do you
here.
need? You need a teacher.
What are these notes
You
here,
need a
please,
good
Stephen?
Same,
teacher.
it's all semis, so the same speed, semi-quavers, yeah.
Somebody?
Somebody famous. Somebody.
Oh, hang on.
Yeah, that's right.
Except it was.
case is
Little
different.
arpeggio. Now, the only thing I'll say about that, Tony, is when you get to here, these ones are more the tune.
But not too
Right.
So what you're going to do is hold.
That's what the problem in China. Make them practice 10 hours a day.
And what's it called? This note here? With this
This is why some
squiggly bit
It's a
here.
quaver,
in every
and it's got a little staccato. So exactly.
are Asian.
We do that again?
If a Chinese, you shouldn't generalize, but if a Chinese
I
kid
see.
at the age of 4 or
Yeah.
5 shows some
Alright.
talent in anything, whether
Yes.
playing the violin or playing tennis,
Oh,
the
down
parents,
here.
it's something a little more than
And then the
friends.
staccato again with the C.
They're one step above. Then they can, well, who's supposed to be the best teacher in Wuhan, if they're in Wuhan, then it's another step. Well, there's a conductor of an orchestra there. The conductor wants talented kids. He wants to know about them. And then they right away will end up in the whatever it's not called
And then
pre-college
B?
there, but whatever it's called, less than undergraduate, when they're very young, in Shanghai and Beijing,
And then F?
are the main conservatories, and get the most intensive
And then
work you can imagine.
E.
And the parents will, whether they're studying tennis or piano, will make them practice all day long. I mean, there are exceptions, obviously.
If the talent has to be discovered early on, is there a risk in doing too much too soon? Too many concerts, too many competitions?
Oh yeah, I was totally against competitions, except, well, example, I didn't allow Lana to play competitions.
How's it going,
He
Stephen?
scream and cry and carry on, so I'd let him go to one.
Good.
But he followed my advice. And same with you, Joanne.
Are we okay, Stephen? Is it going
Not
okay?
because,
Yes, it is.
they didn't need to. When you go to competitions,
Now be careful of that, Tony. What are we looking
Ah,
at?
yes,
He's
yes,
cleft.
yeah.
you win X thousand
Yeah,
dollars.
sorry.
But
The little one
you have
there.
concerts.
Uh,
Managers want to be there. People, conductors might hear you. It might be the beginning of a career. It's a small competition, but so in a small area, you'll play with the local orchestra, and maybe you'll be re-engaged, and then other people will hear you. But you don't need that. In other words, when I had, conductors, listen to them.
and then here, we're
'Cause
going what, Stephen?
F.
I played with most of the
Yeah.
conductors.
Yeah.
And
then
when
after-
they'd be in town,
Well,
guest
see?
conducting Philadelphia Orchestra or conducting here, the kid could come up here and play for them.
No, it's bass clef. That was Tony. So let me help you out there. That's the E, and that's F. So they're next to each other.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
If you go to competitions, you always have to work on what you think you're playing best, and then you're not learning new repertoire, because 6 months later there's another competition. So, well, you don't want to play what you just learned in these 6 months because you're not ready yet. But you learned 2 years ago, so you end up playing the same repertoire. It doesn't work sometimes.
And then F again.
Was How Chen,
And the E
John
again.
John, who just played with Philadelphia Orchestra last week.
And then E.
might
Sing
say
again.
it's terrific. Manager said, oh, he's wonderful, but I have too many pianists on my list. The conductor said, I wouldn't hear him again in 2 years because he's a big talent. But they didn't engage him right away. So he went to the clapping competition. I had no objection to that. He had nothing to lose because nobody offered him anything. He got the gold medal, and so it worked that way. Each case, you can't, it's especially for each person. Each person plays differently and has a different career.
Can you, as the teacher, influence or foster the individual voice of your students?
That's our
on,
job, and that's what we try to do. This probably without thinking about it, because many people have asked me this question,
B and
and
C. B and D.
Horowitz probably caused the answer,
G sharp.
which is when I played for him, he never
G and B.
went to the piano to show me
And E
anything,
and G sharp.
nothing. Because I guess he realized that he played
Hold
in
on.
such a
And let's go back to that one.
if I
we did
disagreed
earlier.
with this, which I might do, I was growing up with Horowitz, Rubinstein, Schnabel, and Serkin.
Which is,
And so they all influenced. And so,
that
let's say I
Stephen?
preferred this one and this one. But each one were playing in a totally convincing way, their own way. And probably he felt that maybe I would
G, B, flat, and D.
try to copy or this. I mean, occasionally he would say, you're on the wrong track, but that wasn't often. He wouldn't say that he disagrees with my interpretation so that I should do it differently. But he would say that although he does it differently, he sees what I'm aiming for, and maybe I would succeed better by doing something. And he would be sitting in the couch, let's say, and the piano was over here. And he would say, for example, in this area, and he would sing a certain melody, and say that I was aiming for this, and even though he did it differently, although he didn't always say he did it differently, but he meant that sometimes, that I would succeed better doing different things. So, sure, if the composer likes to play very softly, well, you do have to play very softly, but beyond that, every artist is different.
What was it like playing for Horowitz? Was Horowitz in person very different from Horowitz the legend on stage?
Okay, cut.
Well, as I told